At 2 a.m., a police helicopter's roar ripped through the quiet Arizona night, its spotlight blasting my grandfather's canvas tent by our family's spring-fed lake, pinning me like a fugitive in a bad movie. 3 squad cars screamed down my dirt road, red and blue lights flickering across the water as I stumbled out in boxers, hands up, the sharp bite of adrenaline flooding my mouth. Vivian Harper, the HOA dictator of Silver Creek Estates, perched in her golf cart, filming my humiliation with a smirk, oblivious to the fact that her pristine community had been trespassing on my land for 2 years. I'm Caleb Thornton, a 45-year-old electrician slogging through 60-hour weeks in Redstone County, Arizona, to pay taxes on 40 acres inherited from my grandfather Henry, including a 3-acre lake our family's owned since 1942. The air here smells of cedar and sagebrush, with morning mist rolling off the water like silk, a place where Henry's open-door policy let locals fish and swim freely, making him a legend in Redstone. My divorce left me scraping by, every dollar poured into this land to honor Henry's legacy, but 2 years ago, Silver Creek Estate sprouted. Nearby, a glitzy subdivision that unleashed Vivian, a 50-year-old ex-city councilwoman whose black SUV, lavender perfume, and clicking heels announced her like a storm warning. Elected HOA president. In a shady vote most of us missed while working, she turned our haven into her fiefdom, her clipboard a scepter, citing lawns for a quarter-inch violation with the glee of a tyrant. Her reign kicked off when she slapped me with a $200 fine for unauthorized camping after I pitched Henry's tent for a night of peace, my hands raw from wiring a factory, my back aching from crawling through tight conduits. The campfire's crackle and coffee from Henry's battered tin mug were my sanctuary until Vivian's SUV led a dawn convoy, her papers flapping like a warrant, declaring my lake a community water feature under HOA control. This land's been ours since your houses were just cow pasture, I said, but she snapped back with easement rights and threatened police by sunset, her perfume choking the air like a chemical weapon. I broke camp, kicking myself for not checking Henry's deeds, a careless oversight. A week later, an 8-foot chain-link fence blocked my lake, security cameras glaring like vultures, signs screaming Silver Creek property in bold letters. The gate's metallic clang fueled my rage. They'd stolen my access while I was buried in work. I drove to the Redstone County Courthouse, where Clerk Eleanor, who'd known Henry since the Eisenhower days, pulled dusty 1940s deeds, their faded ink proving the HOA's adverse possession. Claim was 8 years short of legal, their fence 15 feet onto my land. A monumental blunder. Vivian thought I'd roll over, but she didn't know Henry taught me to stand firm. I hired Lydia Pierce, a property lawyer whose bulldog reputation made opponents flinch, and she filed a restraining order so fast the sheriff's tires left skid marks serving Vivian, her smug mask cracking for a fleeting moment. She hit back hard, spreading lies that I'd threatened her, her gossip network humming like a wasp nest, branding me a dangerous loner, in whispers at mailbox chats and wine nights. My security cameras caught her cronies sneaking around at midnight, measuring my fence like suburban commandos, led by her cousin's fencing company, a textbook case of nepotism. Lydia uncovered no permits for their fence, making it an illegal steel shrine to their arrogance. Vivian escalated, filing an environmental complaint with the state, claiming my camping polluted the lake with septic violations and chemical runoff, a desperate move to paint me as an eco-villain. Inspector Ramirez arrived with gear that looked like it belonged on a space shuttle, testing the water and declaring it cleaner than city supplies, his report exposing Vivian's claims as felony false reporting, each lie a nail in her legal coffin. Neighbor Walt, a 68-year-old rancher who'd fished with Henry since Truman's era, rallied locals with stories of Henry's generosity, free lake access, loans never repaid, a community anchor. Meanwhile, Silver Creek residents grumbled as Vivian's legal fees drained their HOA funds, leaving potholes unfixed and streetlights flickering. My cameras caught her treasurer, Nolan, dumping motor oil by the lake, his face lit up in my floodlights like a B-movie villain, stammering, "This isn't what it looks like," as he dropped bags of stage trash, receipts inside tying him to a local diner. The EPA report labeled it deliberate sabotage, not camping pollution, adding criminal mischief to Vivian's growing rap sheet. Lydia dug deeper, unearthing HOA minutes where Vivian and her board plotted to bankrupt me to seize the lake for pennies, a conspiracy fueled by her $150,000 debt and looming foreclosure. Her fiduciary duty shattered as she funneled $68,000 in resident fees to her personal legal war. Vivian went nuclear, claiming Henry's will was invalid, alleging dementia with flimsy evidence, a grocery clerk saying he once forgot paper or plastic, as if that erased an 80-year deed. Her private investigator tailed me, camera shutters clicking like cicadas, while anonymous flyers smeared me as unstable, twisting my divorce into a public crucifixion, each one a stab that burned worse than physical pain. Walt formed a Defend Henry coalition, locals testifying to Henry's razor-sharp mind, his doctor's records showing he managed complex investments until his final day, outsmarting men half his age. Lydia's paralegal, Clara, traced Vivian's finances, revealing her house in foreclosure, her late grab a desperate bid to inflate property values and dodge bankruptcy. The smoking gun came from HOA minutes, obtained via open records, where Vivian admitted targeting me to boost our investments, a confession of fraud and conspiracy. She tried a zoning complaint next, claiming my camping violated agricultural rules, unleashing a bureaucratic onslaught. Building inspectors eyed my 80-year-old cabin like it was a meth lab. Fire marshals scrutinized my campfire like I was an arsonist. Health officials probed the lake, all finding no violations, each clean report a brick in our harassment case. Vivian bribed Nolan to offer me $20,000 to drop the suit, my cameras catching his sweaty whisper, "Just walk away." And my calm reply, "Is that obstruction of justice on tape?" Her final gambit was a 911 call, claiming I'd threatened her life, but paramedics found her vitals normal, her story crumbling like dry sand, adding another false report to her charges. She doubled down, flooding agencies with complaints, fire hazards, wildlife violations, even groundwater contamination, all dismissed, each one strengthening our case. My employer got anonymous letters calling me dangerous, but my boss, Ray, a 30-year veteran, saw through the lies, documenting the harassment as attempted workplace sabotage. Silver Creek split into factions, residents fed up with Vivian's $75,000 legal tab, their assessments funding her vendetta instead of fixing their streets. At the HOA meeting, her plea for community protection sparked rebellion, families vowing to sell rather than bankroll her war. Court depositions exposed her financial ruin, $150,000 in debt, speculative land deals gone bust, her late grab a lifeline to avoid personal collapse. Clara found Vivian hid her conflicts from the board, voiding her decisions and exposing her to personal liability. The Redstone County courthouse hearing was a spectacle, 70 residents cramming the room, news cameras whirring, the air heavy with burnt coffee and righteous anger. Vivian took the podium, sweating under TV lights, ranting I was a threat to safety, her voice trembling like a bad actress. I presented Henry's deeds, survey maps showing her clubhouse sat 15 feet on my land, every board meeting an act of trespass. Lydia played Nolan's bribe recording, $20,000 to walk away. My response, obstruction of justice on tape? Echoing as cuffs clicked on Nolan, his face white as a ghost. Clara's financials. Community trust. She got 3 years probation, her real estate license revoked, her house foreclosed, fleeing Silver Creek like a fallen despot. I won $75,000 in damages, the illegal fence torn down. The lake mine again. Walt took over the HOA, slashing rules to 5, restoring block parties and potlucks, the air filled with barbecue smoke and kids' laughter. The $75,000 funded Henry's legacy. Fishing festival, a public dock, and wildlife programs, with kids casting lines where helicopters once loomed, their giggles sweeter than any verdict. My tent stands tall, campfire smoke curling, under a starlit sky, but did we cross a line, turning neighbors into a vigilante army? Was Vivian a scheming crook or a desperate dreamer crushed by her own greed? Her downfall was total, broke, disgraced, exiled. But was it justice or a crusade gone too far? Share your HOA horror below. Did we right a wrong or fuel a feud? Drop your story, spark a debate, and join the fight against petty tyrants stealing our peace.